Hi kids, welcome back to Chodi Si Dunya. Long after the events of Frozen 2, the kingdom of Arendelle thrives. But a new secret is about to unfold. Frozen 3 Secrets of Adohalen, Episode 1 Once upon a time in the kingdom of Arendelle, the sun shone brightly in the sky, casting its warm glow over the land. It was one of those perfect mornings that made you want to sing and dance. The flags of Arendelle waved gently in the breeze atop the tall castle walls, rustling like whispers in the wind. Down below, the market bustled with activity. Kids ran between stalls, their laughter echoing through the air, while people smiled and chatted as they went about their daily business. Among them was our favorite fearless optimist, Anna, the former princess of Arendelle. She was stunning in a royal green gown that shimmered like emeralds in the sunlight. The dress had golden embroidery that sparkled with every movement and long sleeves that flowed elegantly down her arms. A matching capelet added a touch of regality, billowing behind her as she walked. Her hair was tied neatly in a braided bun, adorned with a small golden crown, sparkling like the midday sun. Anna was in a calm but energetic mood as she strolled through the market, greeting the villagers with a warm smile and a friendly wave. "Good morning, everyone," she called out, her voice ringing with cheer. "How's the harvest today?" The townspeople responded with smiles and greetings of their own, happy to see their beloved princess among them. Some shared tales of their bountiful crops while others chatted about the latest community projects. Anna listened with genuine interest, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She was always eager to know about the lives of her people, and took great pride in their happiness and well-being. Meanwhile, in another part of town, we found Kristoff, the rugged iceman with a heart of gold. He was dressed in his usual attire, a brown wool shirt with dark trousers tucked into his leather boots. A fur vest added warmth, but what truly set him apart was the determined look in his eye and the charmingly messy blonde hair that always seemed to defy gravity. Beside him stood his loyal reindeer Sven, whose breath formed little clouds in the crisp morning air. Sven's reindeer harness was decorated with tinkling bells that chimed softly with every step he took. Together, the unlikely duo were helping the villagers load up their ice carts with freshly harvested ice from the nearby lake. "Easy there, Sven," Kristoff chuckled, gently guiding the excited reindeer away from a basket of carrots. "Not all the carrots are for you." Sven winced softly, but obediently shifted his attention back to helping with the task at hand. Kristoff couldn't help but smile at the sight. Sven may have been a bit greedy at times, but his heart was even bigger. As they worked, Kristoff chatted with the villagers, swapping jokes and stories that made everyone laugh. His easygoing nature and quick wit put them all at ease. It wasn't just Anna who knew how to make people feel welcome and comfortable. Kristoff had his own unique charm that warmed hearts like a mug of hot cocoa on a winter's day. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, bathing Arendelle in its golden light, a sense of peace and contentment settled over the kingdom. The morning had begun with a bustling energy, but now there was a calmness in the air. A quiet joy that seemed to resonate in every corner of the land. The gentle breeze rustled through the leaves in the Enchanted Forest, creating a soothing melody that accompanied the soft gurgling of the nearby stream. Mist drifted lazily between the ancient trees, giving the Enchanted Forest an ethereal glow. The spirit animals, graceful and free, moved through the trees with a silent elegance that was both captivating and serene. And high above on a nearby cliff stood Elsa, the Snow Queen, lost in thought. The morning had been peaceful, almost too peaceful for her liking. A shiver ran down her spine, a premonition of something unusual stirring in the forest. The wind whispered secrets through the trees, and Elsa felt a deep connection to their ancient wisdom. With a deep breath, she closed her eyes and listened intently. The forest was alive with sounds, birdsong, the rustling of leaves, the distant chatter of squirrels. But beneath these familiar sounds, she sensed a subtle discord, a hint of unease that she couldn't quite place. Elsa turned towards the castle, her eyes scanning the horizon. Arendelle stood majestically in the distance, its spires reaching towards the sky like welcoming arms. But even from this vantage point, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. Taking a step forward, she lightly touched the ground with her hand. In an instant, ice spread outwards from her fingertips, forming intricate patterns on the ground. As she watched, mesmerized, the patterns began to glow faintly, revealing shadowy frost that pulsed with an otherworldly light. It was beautiful, yet unsettling. "This doesn't feel right," she murmured, her voice echoing the concern in her heart. "The forest is whispering again." The ice beneath her hand started to glow brighter, illuminating the frost patterns in shades of blue and violet. Elsa drew back her hand, startled by the intensity of the display. The forest, usually so harmonious, was sending out a distress call, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility. As the guardian of Arendelle, it was her duty to protect her people and the Enchanted Forest, and she wouldn't rest until she understood the source of this disturbance. With a determined nod, she turned and headed back towards the castle. The morning had started so promisingly, filled with the hope of a peaceful day. But now a shadow of uncertainty had fallen, and Elsa knew she had to act. As she walked, the sound of children's laughter echoed through the trees, a stark contrast to the growing unease in her heart. The image of those carefree spirits spurred her on, reminding her of all that she had to protect. Meanwhile, in a secluded area of the Enchanted Forest, Olaf was having the time of his life. He was surrounded by a group of forest animals, all gathered around him in a circle as he regaled them with a dramatic tale. His twig arms were raised in the air as he mimicked the actions of brave knights and fearsome dragons. And though his carrot nose had tilted slightly askew during his enthusiastic performance, he didn't seem to notice or care. To the forest animals, he was the center of their world, the bravest snowman in history. And then, Olaf exclaimed, his voice booming through the forest. I single-handedly defeated the abominable snow monster and saved Princess Anna from his icy clutches. Haha, take that, you abominable snow monster. He struck a heroic pose, puffing out his chest and letting out a triumphant shout. The animals in the circle erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the trees. Squirrels chattered excitedly, a fox barked furiously, and even the wind spirit Gale swirled around in delight, her voice like the tinkling of bells. Olaf took a bow, basking in the adulation of his furry audience. He was a simple snowman with a simple heart, and all he wanted was to bring joy to those around him. As the laughter and applause subsided, Olaf noticed a slight frown on Gale's face. The wind spirit, usually so carefree and playful, seemed troubled. Concerned, he trotted over to her and asked, "What's wrong, Gale? Why aren't you joining in the fun?" Gale sighed, her voice a soft whisper through the trees. I don't know, Olaf. Something feels off, like a dark cloud is hanging over the forest. Olaf tilted his head, trying to understand. Dark cloud, but the sun is shining and the birds are singing. How can you be sad when there's a carrot cake waiting? Gale shook her head, her voice laced with worry. No, Olaf, this isn't just a passing mood. There's a shadow here, something that doesn't belong. Her words hung in the air, heavy with foreboding. As they stood there talking, the forest around them seemed to darken, the vibrant greens and blues fading into somber purples and grays. Even the joyful chatter of the other animals had hushed, replaced by an eerie silence that sent shivers down Olaf's spine. Back at the castle, Anna rushed to meet up with Elsa, eager to share a secret. She had just spotted a familiar figure on the balcony, silhouetted against the evening sky. There you are, Elsa, she exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. Come quickly, look who's back. Elsa followed her sister's gaze, and her heart skipped a beat. Standing on the balcony was none other than Hans, his elegant dark hair ruffled by the wind, his features etched with a mixture of determination and sadness. But what truly caught Elsa's attention were the subtle changes in his demeanor. The guarded look in his eyes, the clenched fists that betrayed his inner turmoil. As if sensing their gaze upon him, Hans turned and met Elsa's eyes. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The memories of their past encounter, the betrayal, the heartache, flashed through Elsa's mind. But now she saw a different Hans, one who seemed burdened by a weight she couldn't begin to imagine. Anna stepped closer, her curiosity overriding any lingering fear she might have felt towards Hans. So, what brings you back to Arendelle? She asked, her voice betraying her nervousness. Hans took a deep breath, his gaze sweeping across the darkening sky. I came to apologize, Elsa, he began, his voice low and sincere. I know words can't undo the past, but I owe you and Arendelle an explanation. Elsa remained motionless, her eyes locked on Hans, searching for any sign of deceit or manipulation. She knew his reputation as the deceitful prince, but the man before her seemed different. Was this a trick of the light, or was there more to Hans than met the eye? Suddenly, the wind picked up, swirling around them and carrying with it a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn breeze. The candles flickered ominously, casting dancing shadows on the walls, as if mirroring the turmoil in Elsa's heart. Fear tightened its grip on her, whispering doubts in her ear. Was this trust she felt real, or was it just another ploy in Hans's twisted game? Just when the tension threatened to become unbearable, a sudden crash from outside broke the spell. Startled, Anna and Elsa rushed to the balcony where they gasped at the sight before them. A thick layer of frost had spread across the once pristine stone, creeping inwards with an unnatural speed. But what truly sent a shiver down their spines was the color of the frost. It was a menacing dark blue, streaked with ominous black lines that writhed like living things. This wasn't the pure shimmering ice that Elsa created. It was something darker, colder, and utterly terrifying. Elsa's hand trembled as she reached out to touch the frost, but as soon as her fingers made contact, the ice recoiled as if burned. "This isn't my magic," she whispered, her voice shaking with disbelief. The realization hit her like a tidal wave, knocking the breath out of her lungs. Someone or something else was here, someone with powers that mirrored her own. Anna's face drained of color as she took in the sight. "Then whose is it?" she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. The wind howled around them, carrying with it the sound of distant laughter, cold and mocking. As if in response, the frost on the balcony writhed and twisted, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to mock their terror. Camera pans out, showing the outskirts of Arendelle. Patches of shadow frost spread silently in the night, creeping closer to the unsuspecting town. Ominous music plays, signaling the beginning of a sinister plot that threatens the kingdom. Like Aang, subscribe for episode 2.